really hit home. Like Penny
Yeah,
said that
that's
she never had seen this before. Penny had never got it before like this, and now she does, and David does. Everybody's just getting it now. Suddenly it clicked. But anyway, yeah, it's good to see you.
yeah. I just started the recording
Sure.
because you were getting into talking about all this stuff right away. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, might as well hit it right away. So yeah, the story is that Brian Fitzpatrick, the congressman, in his own documents, in his own filing, he says that he is the only FBI agent in Congress. Think about that. The only FBI agent in Congress. What is an FBI agent doing in Congress as a congressman? And being on the Ways and Means Committee, like we said, he has oversight over the agencies. What is a lifelong FBI agent operative doing as a congressman on the committee for oversight of the agencies? It makes no sense at all. And why was he sent to Ukraine? We found out too that they set up an organization in Ukraine where Fitzpatrick trained the alcoholic, trained personnel so that Ukraine can be a puppet of the Pentagon. And he also was there to get rid of, like we said, Victor Shokin, who was the one who was safeguarding the sovereignty of Ukraine as an attorney general. They destroyed him. That was his job, destroy him. And his excuse was the entire apparatus of law enforcement wanted to see him go. That's your excuse when FBI doesn't belong on foreign soil, first of all. And then to set up an agency in Ukraine and train personnel that are puppets for you, for the Pentagon and the FBI, to control Ukraine. And then to bring prostitutes from Ukraine, young girls, to prostitute them in Bucks County, where he's a representative. Guy needs to come down. Then we find out that he's best friends with the chief of police doing the SWAT hits on people who are targets of his as a favor, as a friend. The corruption is so rife and so unbelievable. It's incredible what's going on, Stephen. Incredible. So again, we've got the solution. As soon as Brian Fitzpatrick's removed, the alcoholic, gay congressman, as soon as he's out and stops his giddy playtime, no longer will the agencies have oversight over them. I'm blocked oversight.
Is he
Congress can
supposed to
oversight.
lose?
What's that?
Is he supposed to lose the election?
No, he'll probably win the election's rigged, is what we're told. But they actually have the people handling the Democratic candidates running. So it's Fitzpatrick's people handling it. It's unbelievable. It's what Robertson and Hollywood did with me. Supply your own attorneys, supply your own people. It's what happened to Trump when they had Pat Robertson's main attorney, Jay Sekulow, be Trump's personal attorney. They do this. They rig it, right? So God bless you and others that are stepping to the plate, especially you. So yeah, so they got this system rigged up. But yeah, he'll get in, but they already have a replacement lined up for him. He's faltering. He's drinking so badly now, being inebriated in public, that they know that he's not gonna make it. So they have a replacement ready named I'm told David David Christian is lined up to replace him, and he'll be the next puppet for the agencies.
Yeah, no. Here in Illinois, they have something going on with the voting because from 2017 to 2023, there were a lot more voters that turned out for the latest election, but it was very heavily weighted for one side. So it's like it didn't matter that more people showed up. It was still heavily skewed,
Exactly.
almost 80% to the other side.
The other side doesn't want to let go. We know they don't want to let go. So they're going to be even more and more blatant. You'll see more and more blatant. I've seen this happen where they'll start screaming, yelling, forcing their way in, faking everything, which happened in our case. So what you have is you'll see this more and more where they'll just be obvious, as they force their way, like they did with the Matrix case. So yeah, force their way. But yeah, so there's gonna be a lot of, but you also see them affected, when they're all about power and they feel like they're being revealed, they don't go down gracefully. So yeah, it's like you're gonna see like a bunch of Nazis just going nuts. And for Fitzpatrick, it's alcohol, mainly alcohol and sex. So watch for him, just like not focusing, red-eyed. He's gonna look older. He's gonna look strung out. And yeah, Yeah, you can, it's happening already. They don't take what they throw very well being returned on them. In fact, you know, when they're in the spotlight and things are being revealed that they've done that are corrupt, they blow a gasket.
So
So
is Fitzpatrick the one that's in position that's giving the go-aheads for the flyovers?
yes, he's the one that like that chief of police deal from Warrington Township, you know, chief of police who has the yellow brick behind his head, FBI yellow brick road, FBI.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he's claimed openly in public that he was personal friends with Brian Fitzpatrick. So he'll unleash a SWAT team, take the rewards, and it's all corruption. It's all back and forth, scratch your back. I was told that the PA 01 seat in Pennsylvania, congressional seat, is the one that Kevin Spacey talks about in House of Cards as the main seat for getting people ready for the presidency. I'm like, wow, it's actually in House of Cards. So he's occupying that seat. The
Yeah,
word
like
is there's not, you know,
somebody else is controlling the seat, obviously, and then but he's the
mhm.
guy, he's the
He's
one
the puppet. He's the puppet.
that's
He
given
wants
the
to be
final
pleasured.
order.
Right. He wants to be pleasured. He's got a lot of vices. He's very corrupt. So he'll enjoy that seat. The minions enjoy those seats, like the Wachowskis. They'll enjoy the rewards. And when that puppet loses power, they'll scream and kick and yell, but then they'll just put another puppet in. Yeah. You have to reveal what's behind the seat. You're actually right. You have to reveal what's behind the seat. So yeah. And that's what we're doing. So, I mean, really, they were pretty stupid with how far they went, you know, um, just how blatantly they went. And then this one lady that's working with me now from Pennsylvania, congressperson, she's saying that, like I said, the articles, the newspaper articles, when they run these articles, these cover articles, people will believe often that, oh, well, it's out in the open. There must be nothing to see here because they're putting in an article. These cover articles are so damning because they're making excuses for what they're doing. It's a roundabout admission that, yeah, they're doing it. But, you know, let's say what they're saying about how the FBI doesn't usually take political positions on foreign soil. Yeah, you're not supposed to. And then the excuse follows in the article that, well, everybody thought he should go. And, you know, so they try to make it, they spin it, but you can easily see through. They just admitted this is corrupt. You can't say, we don't usually do this. Well, yeah, it's corrupt, not supposed to, but we did it because we needed our noses picked.
Yeah,
You
a
know,
lot of the
it
people
doesn't line up.
working, like the newspapers have a bunch of spin that they're pushing out daily now.
Done together. Basically, it's carte blanche. Do what you want and say what you want. But Fitzpatrick did such a bad job. He must have been drinking on that one too, because he really did a bad job. Whoever was working with him on that article, it just revealed everything, including the a whole thing with Biden and the bribery, and said it was the FBI that was actually enforcing the bribery. So stupid. But yeah, like this lady said, that you know people don't really spot it at first unless you point it out. Then they get really upset when you point it out. So yeah, the flyovers are continuing, the flyovers. So I get the red eyes, the blurriness, like you saw. So you experienced too. So what symptoms did you feel when you were down here when you flew over?
It was sinus drainage actually, because I was also taking the red pepper,
Right.
and it was heavy on certain days. It's kind of funny, like they fly over like in the evening, and then the following morning, like after I had my breakfast and stuff, like with the eggs and the hot peppers, then I'm doing my normal like sinus cleaning, but it's a lot more. It's like a lot. There's a lot more mucus.
That's it. Upper respiratory congestion is one of the biggest things that happen. What
Hmm.
I've noticed too, Stephen, is that you'll notice my eyes. Like what happens is you have trouble keeping your eyes open. Like you're awake, but your eyes just get red and sore, and they keep closing. And
I
you
was
one of the
wearing my contacts for several days without taking them out, but after um, being there for the time I was, what it was like a little over 2 weeks,
Yeah.
Like I had to take my contacts out at some point, and then I was rarely putting them in. Like I'd put them in later in the day, but it was just something that I noticed going on there. So my eyes did get a little more sensitive.
Yeah. And you know what's wild about it is that if I was someone's telling me about this, if you're on, what is it, antipsychotic drugs or something, right? One of the things with a certain, I was told, antipsychotic, whatever they give people, drug them up. Your eyes will start closing, and it's hard for them to keep them open. It's like and so what they're doing with this spraying is causing the effect that makes us look like we're on drugs, and then claim that we're on drugs. It's like, no, you're spraying us. We're not on drugs. The guys flying the planes, maybe. Yeah.
I have a picture of myself sitting in the airport before I flew over, and you can tell like everything was red here. My whole forehead is red. My forehead breaks out right here.
Right.
It's actually dry right now. But I mean, I'm right over by next to Chicago, literally next to it. So they're doing flyovers all the time here.
Right.
The air
Right.
smelled a little different when I got back.
Did you notice tasting metal too? It's like there's a metal taste. It's the weirdest thing. Like you taste a metallic sense, a flavor, kind of. And it's like it's in when you eat your food, when you drink, when you're just normal. It's like this metal taste.
Yeah, it reminds me of like when I when you finish building a computer
Right.
and you power on the whole system for the first time and the heat sink starts to get hot. There's like all the oils on that heat sink because it's brand new, just out of the box. Like you put it all together and put it in there. But all of that, like that smell is kind of what I was smelling outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's very similar to what you described, where it's metallic, because it
Right.
probably is, especially with all the
Yes.
other videos I
Yes.
watch about what could be being sprayed. I mean, I'm very, I'm more towards yes, we're being sprayed with all sorts of crap. Like I'm on
Right.
like that side of thinking with all this, but yeah,
Well,
I'm
here's the
also waiting
thought.
to like get more proof. Like besides looking up in the sky, that's all the proof I really need. I got so much
Right.
footage of just while I was down there. Just every morning I was taking pictures and video of the skies. So that's also stuff I want to compile together to go over with you. But
Right. That sounds good. I'm noticing there's an interesting double play going on where it's being talked about now, basically a talking point almost, is saying that the aliens in the sky that are now everywhere, now they're saying that the government is putting the idea of aliens in the sky as a trick. It's like, wait, what? First you're saying it's weather balloons. Now you're saying that they're they're the ones creating this. That it's they're the ones faking it. I'm like, it's a total reverse. And so now I hate it, the truther community thing is starting to speak about that the government is faking the alien thing. I'm like, well, why would the government fake the alien thing after covering it up for so long?
well, they want to do the Project Bluebeam thing where they they compose their own UFO first contact
Right,
so
like the
that
second
they
coming
and
idea.
then
The
they'll
second,
control the narrative that way.
right, that makes sense. But there is activity. It's obvious, and they've been covering up for so long. So you're saying they want to control the first reveal.
They want to put another layer in their matrix of, hey, we have now like personally created this alien, but we're not going to tell anybody that like we made it up, that it's just a puppet.
That makes sense.
And then we're going to
Makes sense.
make it
Yeah,
look
do
like
a
it's
big
this whole
reveal.
race. Yeah. And then we're going to say they're
Be
going to
the
war with
authority,
us.
be the first ones to control the narrative by saying, here's the real thing we're releasing. Here's a real interview with an alien. Well, that would certainly get attention.
And then the UN wanting Space Force, probably.
Hollywood would love that. They probably have a whole bunch of suggestions for that. You know, it's like, let's use this guy. Let's just,
Hollywood's the biggest perpetrator of, like, between that and NASA. I think they're two big perpetrators of massive lies of what's really going on. And I really think there's another species that's trying to control us here. And they're also walking among us in our skin. Their look-alike skin. It's kind of crazy to say out loud.
there's so much coming out now. It's like, it's crazy. But I'll tell you another symptom from
Yeah,
this
there's all these.
spraying is the sneezing. Like the spraying also, besides making your eyes close, is the sneezing all the time. It's like you just sneeze and you sneeze and you sneeze and you have the upper respiratory
Yeah,
and your eyes get
that's
irritated.
part of the sinuses
It's
being
all this,
drained.
yeah, to try to disrupt any real communication or look legitimate. You know, it's like, so here we are, we have to do interviews looking like we're on death's door. You know, it's like, it's really crazy. It's like, but we have to, you got to do it. You got to do it. But it's all these little toys and play that they do, and they play overkill with them. They do it way too much. I mean, how many times when you were here did you see the flyovers or hear them?
Which ones?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I'd
yeah,
say there was about a dozen
there's,
flyovers,
yeah,
and
yeah, the
most of them were
roaring jets.
helicopters.
Mhm.
A lot of So some of them were traffic helicopters for
Right,
local news, but then there were
right.
also medical helicopters that I saw.
Black
There were also
helicopters.
black military
Yeah, the
helicopters,
military ones. That's the ones.
and
That's the
then
ones that hover over the house. That's the ones that Fitzpatrick sent, the SWAT team military helicopters. And
the ones
I
at
think he
night,
paid over just as a friend.
those uh what is it? The low range, small range planes.
The Piper Cubs,
Yeah,
remember?
like Indiana Jones, or what we were saying, North by Northwest, where
Right,
it
they
just like
love
goes
those.
over.
Yep, they love those.
I
And what's
have
funny is they'll do down here, they'll do it with like a silver or white silver plane, and it has red tips on its wing. It'll have red tips on its wing and red tip on its tail. And we've had it on video where it started doing dives. I mean, it's unreal. You got to see this. It does, I have it still, diving at the house like Pearl Harbor, and then pulling away, and going out and coming back again to do a run, diving down at the house and pulling away. Like they're doing stunts for us. It was like a flying circus, you know, like the Red Baron. It was incredible. It was incredible. Yeah, first of all, it's not legal to dive on someone's roof, dive at their roof and then spin out right above the ground. You should see this. You should. It's unbelievable. It's like a private air show. Talk about needing attention. Yeah, and I have footage of it. Hmm. Anyway, in
But they wanted to
Doylestown,
be seen.
when I was up in Doylestown, where Fitzpatrick is, one of those planes with the same markings, red tips on the wing, red tips on the tail, CIA, was going too low across the rooftops and crashed. Yeah, yeah, he crashed. So, oh, what a way to go doing idiotic work for Brian Fitzpatrick. Yeah, that's really nice. Anyway, yeah. What kills me, I was thinking about lately too, is that, you know, they were saying about, is there an underground city in the Immortals? Yes, just like in Matrix, there is the underground city in the Immortals. And it made me think, Stephen, that, you know, what's interesting is that we're paying for that underground city for the worst of humanity to be safe underground should a disaster happen. Congress people, state senators, the absolute most corrupt people on the planet are going to be going down, hunkering down there that we paid for in these cities to come back out after the earth is to be repopulated. So I was thinking it'd be nice to, because they asked me, what about the city that you have? Is it a good one or a bad one? I said, it's a good one. Wouldn't it be cool to have an underground city that's for good people with good hearts? So if something did happen, that's what comes out. And I could see God just short circuiting the one that's for the congressmen and senators. That'd be so funny. That it's just like, and they said that in Doctor Strangelove. They said like each different group would do cities underground. Then they have these tunneling wars, right? Tunneling wars with each other. And they'd have like multiple women for each guy. It was very funny. I mean, Doctor Strangelove really did say the fantasy of the elite. And so you can see this where you can imagine them actually having these wars from their underground cities, you know, tunneling through, which is in the Immortals. It's in the Immortals. So I think that's pretty hilarious. But it'd be nice to have an actual benevolent one. And then what I saw the other day was that the home protection, whatever it is, it's not that. Whatever that stupid group is, I block it out because I can't stand them. Home defense, whatever it's called. That was FEMA and them. Anyway, the home security group, they have enacted under Obama and Biden, I don't know if you probably know this, that they can seize from any private citizen food stores, water, generators, weapons, communication devices, phones, computers. They're allowed to seize whatever they want from you, currency, if they say there's an emergency, disaster.
Well, it's
So agents are allowed to
unconstitutional.
go to you and take everything you need to survive away, right? And there's no determination on what the amounts are. You can just do it.
Just don't recognize the law.
Yeah. So anybody who's stocked up for the family, which is the right in this country, I forget they call them. Those that are preppers, I guess the preppers, they are able to be seized from. And here's the rationale. The agencies say this should be done because then we're sharing with everybody else. Like they give a damn about the general population.
Good old commies. Good old commies.
It's communism. So those that prepared, we're taught that story in school about the ant and the grasshopper, right? Aesop's fables, and how the ant stored up and the grasshopper didn't. Well, according to them now in this country, it's communism where the grasshopper can take whatever we want. Problem solved. Meanwhile, here's the question. If you're doing these underground cities like Wintergreen and such, right? I guess in Montana and other places, in Colorado, whatever. Okay, then you should open the doors to the entire population. If you're actually for all, then open those doors, when disaster comes. But they won't, will they? No, they'll just take our supplies and leave our babies and child starving. So it's incredible how they justify and rational when they don't have the heart for it all, and you can see it on them. Lied to your face as a population.
They don't really have an army to even carry that out properly, though, if they wanted to.
The
US is a very large country.
Remember
with
New
a lot
Orleans,
of land.
right? In New Orleans, they practiced it. They've been running drills.
Yeah, so the
So
major
they went
cities,
door to door. Yeah,
the major
door to
cities
door.
are in jeopardy with that.
That's it. Door to door seizing any weapons, everything else. And they said even this guy that was in a boat, this family that was in a boat, they took their weapons from them on the boat. Well, during that Katrina, you needed your weapons. There was all kinds of looting and killing and raping and murder. And it's like, so you're going to disarm your population and let them languish at the stadiums. That needs to be talked about more at some point, the stadiums. What happened to those stadiums? Why is that not talked about? What happened to those stadiums? Can you Google and see if it has anything about the atrocities at the stadiums during Katrina in New Orleans? Because there was all kinds of knifings and things like that. It was anarchy. And the people were told to go to the stadiums.
My general recollection of what happened,
which is what is in the Immortals.
There was a lot of death that happened.
There was
inside. I forget what the
something.
name, whatever that New Orleans Coliseum was. That's where it was at.
And that's what
they demolished it, I think, afterward.
That's what's in the Immortals. And the Immortals is the stadium, gathering the stadium, the killing going on the stadium. It was right there. Right there.
There was no order or anything to it.
No, they didn't help them. Nothing.
People were left to die.
Yeah, they were left to die. So left to die, unassisted, no help coming. It was planned that way. They wanted anarchy among the citizenry. But is there anything on there, anything left showing about that? Because that should be resurrected. That should be shown. It's in the Immortals. It happened in real life. And that's the plan, right? Herd people to the stadiums and let them take care of themselves. Let them take each other out. In that scenario, the best die, the innocent die, and the worst thrive. They rape, steal, take, because they're into violence.
All right, I think I found something here.
Let me know what you got.
The Astrodome, yeah, this is it.
Unbelievable. Right. This is actually Crimes against humanity.
It is.
Where were their supplies? Where were they help? I mean, keep in mind that Bush is flying over, president at the time. Bush is flying over, looking out his window like Hitler did over Poland.
You seen it?
Unbelievable. Yes.
So it says
Yes.
cops await people fleeing the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, the 3rd of September 2005, at a new shelter opened at the Astrodome complex in Houston, Texas. So this actually looks like the parking section of the stadium
It
from what I've
does.
seen of other stadiums. Like this is where they bring all the production vehicles into. So they just converted that entire. It's basically an exhibit hall sized area,
Right.
and it's
Right.
just full of cots.
And that's it. No order to it all, just crammed up against each other.
And then whatever belongings you have to has to fit in that little footprint of your cot.
Right. Right. And nothing's regulating the stealing, the theft,
I
hurt,
think
killing.
that's the bigger thing. It's going to be a huge issue going forward. There's
And that's Texas. That's not New Orleans. That's Texas. Texas does better than New Orleans, right? But there's nothing on New Orleans.
oh
Texas does a better job than New Orleans, that's for sure. Than
yeah,
it
let
did
me
there.
look for New Orleans one. I'll stop the screen share for now.
Sure,
Thanks for correcting me.
that's all right. Because I
But the
believe in Texas.
Astrodome,
I do believe in Texas. I do.
is it still there, or did they
I
uh
don't know.
like is it still active? Maybe.
I want to learn more about it and how long they languished and what crimes are being known. It reminds me of the police sitting back during the shooting in Texas at the school, doing their hands with hand sanitizer and just waiting while those students are being shot and texting for help. And every one of them shot in the head, basically. While they're out in the hall, the cowards that are armed doing hand sanitizer. Oh, oh my God.
So this is what I had envisioned when we were discussing this before. They did use the football field to have
Right.
people sleep.
And anything can happen. Nothing's regulated, nothing's watched over. That's incredible. Look at that.
Imagine just like waking up and hearing all the crying.
Crying, coughing, sick, cursing, threatens, yelling, screaming.
Yeah, and the kids too that are really not really controllable in that sense.
Right.
Like if
And the danger to them.
all their emotions are going to be heightened, all the bad or negative vibes. So they'll be
And
scared and angry and fearful.
hungry, bathroom, you name it. It's like humanity just degrades. And that was the plan, I think, this to have humanity degrade upon itself. Lord of the Flies. That's the best our country can do.
4 years after the New York attack.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, when it comes to like the school shootings and stuff and how they handle school shootings, I'm ashamed. I'm
Well,
ashamed.
most of them, it seems like they are planned.
Yeah.
Like they're
Yeah.
put up to being done.
Like a guy in a black hood, whatever, concealing weapons, walking right into the school.
I actually stopped by the what was it, Aurora, Colorado movie theater.
Hmm.
So it was closed down in January of 2020. Uh, I don't know if it was because it was the weekend or something, but usually it should be open, right?
Right.
But went there just to look at the building, just for the significance of it. But it looked like its best days were over. Like nobody really goes there anymore.
Sure.
It's sad. It's almost like not knowing what I know. That was Christopher Nolan's what third Batman movie for a trilogy, and like the week that it's opening, all that stuff happens
Yeah, yeah.
with a shooter inside of a theater.
It's like they're trying to put the message forward. It's like what's happening right now with Netflix. Like you said, Netflix is running Matrix banners all over the place. Matrix, Matrix,
Still,
Matrix, Matrix.
they're still
Yeah,
doing it.
they're still popping up once in a while. And it's like what's going on is they had said, remember they said that through Sophia Stewart, they said like no one's going to come see the movie because it's already been done. And then they do this. You know, Kate Chilton and the rest start running it up, running it up, running it up. I guess to try to cause such psychological impact and despair. But the thing is, like, they're showing that yes, our movie's still viable, very much so. That people will come and watch it. They're laying the groundwork for it to be seen by trying to cause effect and mock. And all they're doing is opening the door for it to be watched. They keep claiming use up the rest of the story. We used up the rest of the story. It's like no, you didn't. Not the
Yeah.
real story.
I'm
I love your
feeling
work.
I'm feeling like we should share some of this. So I'm gonna show another screen here. Astrodome, all of the
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
so this is just what they can do in terms of putting people in packed like sardines into space.
Reminds me of those
But it's not
industrial cow farms, those
yeah,
industrial cattle farms.
yeah, there's nothing humane about any of this.
No, they might as well brand them. There's no comfort there at all. It's just cots laid out.
It's a war zone.
Why don't they pre-plan? It's like they are going to do this again. They're going to just same thing, just herd them to stadiums. It's in the screenplay. Joel Silver wanted to use the stadium. He did in Oblivion finally. Wachowski's wanted to use the stadium. It would be too much over budget. They were drunk on the idea of the stadium. They knew that was part of the plan. The stadiums are where the people are herded together. And then the idea is that the solution is they take care of themselves, like they get rid of themselves. What's this? Or
So there was work being done on the roof of the Superdome in New Orleans.
oh, okay,
That's after the storm.
I see.
Yeah. Okay.
I think people need to be not forgetting this, just like the children on Hawaii.
Yeah, we're showing this here because there's a connection to the Immortals
Right.
with a stadium scene taking place.
Where all the people are supposed to gather. Right. They're brought to gather there. The architect wants them to gather at the stadium. Isn't that something? And here's what's happening. It was right on that too, Stephen. It was
And
right.
there's no sense of community in a place like that because like everybody, you can't trust anybody. You can't even trust a person sleeping next to you in a way.
And there's no law and order. There's no safeguards.
No,
You're on your own in anarchy. It's Lord of the Flies. Like I
and there's
said,
no
you're on
police.
your own. Could you imagine the excuses these people were told to, or the answers they were given when their children are crying and hungry and they're like, it's people, oh, yes, it's going to be happening soon. They're on their way. Everything will be taken care of. Please just go back to where you were. It's all being taken care of. As if they're annoying them for asking the question, right? You can imagine the climate and how hostility starts to grow. I mean, it's so easy to picture. It's like my child's hungry. Yes, there's a lot of people here also, as if they're at fault for asking the question. They're not sensitive, that they're selfish to ask the question because their child's hungry or thirsty, right? Or asked to use the bathroom. Yeah. And that coupled with the door-to-door searching. They said that a elderly woman did not want to give up her firearm in New Orleans, right? When they went door to door. And they said she had to. And so these thugs dressed up in body armor, everything else, with automatic weapons, shoved her down on the ground and physically assaulted her to get get her own weapon, where she can't protect herself. She said she wanted to protect her own. Isn't that incredible? That's this country? Yeah. Yeah. And then I got to say it. I got to say it again. The FBI statement through Fitzpatrick, what did he say? The FBI only goes after those that go after them. That they only protect themselves. That's what they do. They only protect themselves. They don't go after anybody except those that go after them. So they're saying they're not interested in helping us. They're only protecting themselves. So why do they exist? Why do they have such power? And if there's no moral compass on these guys, why are they going around in the public with automatic weapons? You know how many clips I've seen? My son Aiden, he'd show me these, like there's something called Officer Donut. He's a very popular YouTuber and a police officer guy. And he shows different police events, right? That are on camera. And you know what happens all the time, basically? They show the police officer getting angry and unloading his clip into the suspect that's on the ground already. Bam, 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 bam. Because he's pissed off. Just like my sister said, Brian Fitzpatrick and the chief of police were pissed off at me and sent the automatic weapons, SWAT teams, everything else coming to me and telling neighbors, you better get inside, you don't want to see this. Unbelievable. I had the presence of mind when they said, can we come in? No, I'll meet you on the porch. I kept it public. I didn't let them in the house. I'd probably be dead right now if I had allowed them in the house. They were ready. Because what did it say in the write-ups we finally got from corrupt attorneys? We finally got that I was dangerous and crazy and agitated. No, I wasn't. I wasn't. I was very calm. I actually said, not again. You know. Then they write in the report, he didn't even know why we were there. Yeah, I want to know why you were here. They didn't release the police footage or the body cam footage at all because the chief of police with the Yellow Brick Road, FBI, behind him is friends with Fitzpatrick. So they're blocking evidence they're supposed to give us. Unbelievable. So people are saying, well, why can they do that? Because they can. They don't care about the law. So it's unbelievable that you look at these events and what they get away with. They can take any citizen out they want by claiming they're agitated. They love that word. And we're not. I was making dinner for my elderly parents and my son. He was getting ready for school tomorrow. It was late at night. And they are all piling at the window with their automatic weapons out at the door. Unbelievable. Body camera, body armor. Can I just say what cowards they are? You're going after US citizens.
Well,
that are making dinner.
I've heard stories of small towns having just probably government agents going and telling the corrupt police,
Right.
hey, so and so's going to do something. But
To
that's
look
all
at
they
your
say.
back.
That's all
Yeah.
they say.
Yeah.
And something that would never hold up in a court of law. Yeah, but the
Right.
police go and follow that as a lead, and innocent people end up being harmed.
Right. And what's the latest tactic, Stephen? The latest tactic is to go search and seize, right? Go at break, search and seize kind of thing,
Mhm.
and a warrant and claim that you will fill the warrant out afterwards. So you can go to anybody's home, according to their plan, look up anything like they did with Trump, go through the closet or the clothes, everything,
Well, they try to
find
be friendly to
anything you
get
can,
in.
find anything you can, and then put it on your warrant afterwards. Oh, here's what we're coming for. Could you imagine if we were allowed to have a raid conducted on some of these FBI heads or Fitzpatrick's home? Could you imagine what we'd find, the sex toys and everything in there, and not have a warrant and then go, okay, and the alcohol and everything, and go like in the drugs and go, okay, we're here because we know what we're going for. We don't have a warrant yet, but we're going to go ahead and do this. Okay, we found this and the little duck you stuck up your butt. Okay, we're putting that on the warrant. That's what we were going for. Right there. Yeah. There we go. That's what they're doing. Unbelievable. They're just thumbing their nose at every part of due process. When I was hauled off on the sixth time, basically, there was no processing. None. Each time there's no processing. They're just putting you away and making sure. And you know what they're looking for? A bed. They're trying to see if there's a facility to have a bed and you're shut away for life. Quote, you're never getting out again. Isn't that amazing? That's it.
They wanted you to keep quiet.
Yeah, it was right before I started doing all the interviews. I was scheduled to do all the interviews, and my sister knew about it. So they have my sister lie and say, he's going to shoot me. He's going to shoot himself. He's going to kill his son. He's waving a gun around. No, I'm not. Nobody checks the phone records. I'm not even talking to that person. They're such a loser. I don't want to talk to him. And then she goes around saying, oh, he's going to kill me. He's going to kill me. Look, he's going to kill me. When there's a video clip being held up to my mom on her phone, which they found for her, Fitzpatrick's team, that says, I just want the horror to end and get on with my life. Where's this manic? He's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me. Look, he's gonna kill me. Look, he's gonna kill me. And he's playing it over with that voice. It's like
Yeah, they're
it
trying to
said the
make you
horror
paint the
to
picture.
end, Julie Zarko. It says the horror to end, Julie Zarko. And if your brother moved 1,000 miles away from you, it's probably because he doesn't want to be around you. And you're not that important. So go have your little manic sessions elsewhere. And they used her to say you're manic. When you hear her voice, unbelievable. That's who Fitzpatrick chooses, though, Stephen, to use to get to the writer. Now, they're trying to convince my mom and others that Fitzpatrick chose my sister because they needed the teacher's vote. She's not even liked. She's such a disgusting human being. Nobody even likes her, basically, right? She's so egotistical. And it's like, so no, she wouldn't be garnishing the teacher's vote for him. She's chosen because the brother has the material worth 1.2 billion that Hollywood wants to deal with and silence. And Fitzpatrick comes from Wilshire Boulevard's office of FBI in Hollywood, 30-mile zone. So yeah, that's why, not because of some importance of this sister who's a nothing elementary school counselor. But they like to spin it, you know. Oh, she's working with us because she's an expert on education. No, she's not. You know, there's a lot better people that have gotten awards for their work that actually, and then they give her awards. Anyway, it's just mind-boggling how much they do these tactics of reward, threat, illegal activity, block all due process, and because they can, they say, because they can. We got to get our country back. And it needs to be done through peaceful means, you know, peaceful ways, which means we need our court system back. Or
Do you
due process.
believe? I have a question. Do you believe that secession is peaceful?
It can be. I mean, if Texas said, which it has every right to, if Texas up and went today or next week, went, you know, we're not part of this federal government anymore. We're going to be our own state and nation. It could be. We could be peaceful, and if the others invade us, they're the ones that are hostile. You know, if it's so corrupt, it makes sense to protect yourself.
What would
And
they?
withdraw.
What would the surrounding states even send in? Their own state police? Their own, like, or the feds? They're gonna
Well,
just send in the federal military.
you would see people standing down. I think you'd see a lot of these like other states that are already saying they're for Texas, you know. You see some that would want to join us probably too on the far end of this, you know, because they know
It's a
the
big
corruption.
enough state to just be its own thing.
We could be our own nation.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, because I mean, flying in was very fast, but going back home to Illinois from
It's
Texas,
huge. It's
driving,
huge. Isn't it? It's huge.
I
Half your
spent an
trip is
extra,
Texas. Yeah,
yeah,
half your trip is Texas. Yeah.
Saturday I spent in Texas. Like Sunday I spent in Texas. Monday
Good
I
luck trying
spent
to
in
get through it.
Texas.
Yeah, it's
And I
huge.
got
It's
back at like 4 in the morning in Illinois.
yeah,
That's like
it's interesting.
home.
What's the thought of the landmass of Texas? Now take Alaska out of the picture. All right. The United States without Alaska, as far as landmass, not picking on Alaska, I'm just saying as far as landmass, how much of Texas makes up the landmass of the United States sans Alaska? Because Alaska is huge too. Alaska and Texas. Yeah. So, yeah.
And not that many
Somewhere
people
close.
are over in Alaska still. That's kind of
What's that now?
like prime real estate up in Alaska. In terms of people, there's not
There's
that many people living out
there's
there.
a whole cult movement my ex honeypot wife was involved in, where they believe that Shangri-La is going to be in Alaska, that the eternal city of whatever, La is in Alaska or something. It's really wild. So I guess, you know, next, well, they'll probably go back and forth between Antarctica and Alaska. So, but yeah, it's interesting. I wouldn't go with that. I would think that the best city on earth would have to be in a warm climate. I think, you know, a comfortable climate. It's like saying Eden's in Alaska. I don't think I want to go to Eden in Alaska. Yeah, so it's like, yeah. But anyway, it's supposed to be beautiful there, sure. But anyway, it's amazing how people lock into certain things and just convince themselves and then go all out on it. But yeah, anyway, yeah. But I'm so glad to be in Texas. We're away from the arm of Fitzpatrick as far as arresting us on charges of my sister claiming that I'm out to get her. No, I don't ever want to see her again.
Yeah,
I'm ashamed.
you have a whole mountain range separating you as well.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. I actually said that. I said that to somebody recently. I said, the only person that scares the trash out of me is my psychotic sister. And I just want her to stay away from me as much as it can be arranged, you know. In fact, Texas police talked to me after she threatened another one of their fake lies and federal crime lies, you know, federal things that are lies that are actually prosecutable, which she's got. As long as she has Fitzpatrick, we can't touch her, apparently. But they said put a medical evaluation warrant on her. The police advised me to put a psychotic, you know, checkup thing on her, a warrant for her to be arrested and examined. She wouldn't pass it. You know, if she was actually brought in, she's bulimic, she's on all kinds of medication, she's bipolar. I know that she's depressed, severe depression. And Fitzpatrick uses her every day. That's your expert. But yeah, so, and she's vindictive. If you cross her path, she will never stop to try to destroy you. Egomaniac off the charts. Perfect for Hollywood. My brother and her, perfect for Hollywood. So yeah, and an alcoholic. So it's like, you got the perfect combination for Hollywood. And isn't that interesting that they always pick that? Alcoholics, drug addicted, bipolar, usually, depressive, bulimic. That's the perfect candidate. Failed at what they did, low level, to be introduced at dinners to everybody, and they get all swept up in the power and success, like my sister said. It's like lazy fast tracks to what they consider fame and image. And then they label it this way. From our own words, is what they call it, Stephen. They want to matter, which means they want to be famous. See? Now, if we said we want to matter, that would mean make a difference in our world, help the kids, things like that. For them, when my sister says she wants to matter viciously, then she's saying that she wants to be idolized. And in fact, when she was on the call to Canada with me, when my son died, Sean was killed, she called me not to offer condolences. After 2 years of silence, she calls. On the very day I heard he died, and she goes, you have to say, right away, she goes, in a very cold voice, she goes, you have to say you're bipolar, what she is, bipolar, angry, and suicidal. For 302, right? And I said, Jill, I'm not going to say that. I'm not. I thought you were calling to offer condolences. Then she just repeats it again. You hear this voice, this male voice there at the school. She goes, you have to say you're bipolar, angry, and suicidal. Say it back to me. I said, I'm not. She goes, if you don't say this, you're saying I don't matter. Look what she just did, right? I have this on tape. So she's saying, you know, if you don't say this to me, you're saying I don't matter. So she's saying, if you don't say this to me, to put yourself away, to falsely condemn yourself, I'm not going to get rewards and I'm not going to be famous. That's what she's saying. Then
Yeah.
she said, if you don't say this to me, she said this too, if you don't say this to me, then we don't have a relationship. I said, Julie, we haven't talked for 2 years. We don't have a relationship. That's something. Look at how the maniac or egotistical narcissist mind works. That's what they're thinking will make you change your mind and do something that'll destroy your life. To say those words, exactly what Fitzpatrick wants her to say, have me say. That she's going to threaten, that's a threat. Get affected by the spraying. That that's a threat she uses, that she's not going to matter and we're not going to have a relationship if you don't destroy your life right now. Yeah. And when I didn't do it, they hauled me off anyway to Brantford Hospital. Why? Because he thinks he wrote The Matrix. So he's seriously physically impaired. I hold the copyright. The Wachowskis don't. Why don't you haul the Wachowskis off? Why aren't they in the mental institution? You know, along with those that had the stupidity to try to get him to do it, including my sister and Fitzpatrick, that are backing them. Anyway, that's the nightmare. That's the nightmare, you know. And my definition, just for the benefit of anybody who tried to spin that with her, when I say I want the horror to end, I want there to be peace for everybody. I want the game to stop. I want people to stop making false charges.
Yeah,
And I want everybody to be okay. I don't want violence on anyone. But that's not going to stop her from going like that. See? Yeah. Out of all the interviews I've ever done, that's all I can come up with.
you
But
don't
that's
want,
what the police responded to. Go ahead.
I want to be clear. You don't want life to end. You want peaceful resolution.
Exactly. One of the reasons I do a garden, I love gardening. Actually, I want to be a farmer. I like nurturing life. I actually have trouble picking my vegetables because I don't want to hurt the plants. So it's like, I'm like the most non-violent person you can find. And the other side even said that. My sister, my brother, they're violent. They're manic. They're scary. And I don't want to be around them. I'd rather be farming. I'm not sitting plotting anyone's death. I'm plotting how can I keep my son safe and happy, far away from people who are psychotic and egotistical. I figure move away from them, right? So, and still they claim their claims.
How's
You
the
must
kitchen?
be super desperate for attention if you're going to say someone's trying to kill you when they're not. Yeah.
I wanted to ask how's the kitchen with the
Messy. I've been
with all the
so
food?
busy. It's messy. It's all loaded up with stuff back there.
Yeah, that's what I like want to ask. What food did you decide to pick up since I've been back home? 'Cause-
Food?
yeah,
Oh, it's the same. It's the same that we had before. So I
awesome.
keep the same diet. Here's the
Awesome.
thing, though. I was just going to say, it's interesting. It just occurred to me, Stephen. Here, my sister and Fitzpatrick are trying to claim, along with Hollywood, that quote in the documents, he thinks people are out to get him. I hate that phrase, out to get him. They use that all the time as a talking point. Doesn't it make more sense that my sister thinks people are out to get him? If she's holding up a phone going, look, he's going to kill me. I'd say that's the one. I agree with the Texas police that that's the one that should have the warrant and evaluated. And they often say those that go in the psych field are the ones that have the problems. They often go in the psych field because they have the problems. And often they have an ego and want to have power over others, like the sister, like Fitzpatrick. And they can have that. They have their opinion. They can stick their opinion on others and watch a life change. She actually murdered my dad by starving him to death and drugging him, that he starved to death. It took 40 days to kill my dad. My sister did that after screaming that he didn't love her and ordered medication, antipsychotic, and something else, morphine and everything else, drugged him so he couldn't eat and then said he couldn't eat, starved him to death. That's my sister, Julia Zarco. And as soon as she was going to leave her husband, she had an affair with this guy who's connected to Bank of America named Kevin. Started having an affair with him right away. No moral compass whatsoever. Drinks like a fish. That's what I'm dealing with. That's what the other side uses. They use family on family, and they find the worst, most amoral people they can find and bring them in. It's a tactic that people should be aware of. But yeah, anyway, unbelievable.
So both your sister and Becca, your ex-wife, have used these tactics?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. My sister, my ex-wife, oh my God. Oh my God. Well, we've got the emails from Mike Lang, right? Is he at Zion on the birthday and everything? And she would drug me and then take Aiden out of the house and leave the door unlocked. I'd lock it and you'd hear the rattling and everything. So she would tell Aiden like hours later, she said, Mommy, I want to go home. He's like, no, we're going to stay here. We're going to stay here. We're done with Tom. We don't need to be around his negativity. So they spin it, right? She actually constructed a journal of her nightmares, saying that, claiming that she had which it's part of the tactic to write up a thing on you to try to create that you're bad. And it was like, that I was refusing to have the baby food or give her food. And they paint you in a dream journal as being bad. Meanwhile, admitting she's having all these affairs. So it's all a spin game they do. A spin game. So, and again, they take people that are not that qualified. She had a high school equivalency. That was the farthest of her education. Yet during the course of our interaction, they gave her this stuff to be a doctor. So they elevated her. So the prostitute became a doctor. And what did she do? Hypnotherapy, having sex with her clients. So it was like the tactics are unreal. The rewards are off the charts. In fact, Mike Lang promised her that he would build a resort at Mount Zion National Park. Is that a slap in the face? Zion? She said her favorite park was Mount Zion. How in the heck do you have enough money to go into a national park and build a resort? How much would that cost? To please
Close to billions.
the author's wife while sleeping with the author's wife. So that was the whole thing. And I asked the one contact from Disney, I said, the Disney attorney, I said, why did Mike Lang take Becca to bed? And she said, ego, because of his ego. So he screwed up. Mike Lang screwed up. It took us right to Disney. Now they're claiming there's a double, but we saw the real estate records. It was Mike Lang of Southern California that bought the Soho Club property by Chase Bank, the most historic building in Spokane, Washington. We have the records. It's from Southern California. No, it's not a Mike Lang from Spokane, Washington. It's a Mike Lang from Southern California that bought it. They do this doubling process, see? So it was Mike Lang of Disney that bought the property, that had the sex with Honeypot wife. That's something on the birthday. So, and it's about power, having more power and being, it's a dumb thing. You take the wife of your enemy to bed like Genghis Khan did. Take the wife of your enemy to bed and you're better than your enemy. It's supposed to be the biggest slap in the face of the manhood of your opponent, right? It's so archaic. I mean, talk about caveman. I was like, take her, just put a bag on her head, take her. If, she was a plant anyway. She was planted by him. It's Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones. You rescue the woman, you marry her, and then your father has you watch her have sex with all these men as the coins drop from her fingers because she was a prostitute. And she had been in jail for prostitution before she came to me. It was a setup. So it's not really a manly thing, if that's his ego thing. All he did was take a prostitute to bed. And Aid and I are like, good riddance. Thank you. After stripping all our accounts. But that was the whole ploy, right? That's the game. So the honeypot wife is just supposed to be like an underling also. And her family were Mexican, Irish and Mexican. And many of them didn't have their green cards. So the family was in on it. The whole family was in on it. Isn't that crazy? The extended family were in on this con. So I had fake relatives too. It's like Smith versus Smith. It was like this whole thing where it was all a lie. All a lie. And they all cashed in at the end. And that's something. Yeah. Anyway, that's how they play their game. But this is good. I appreciate you doing this again. And you're doing incredible work. I mean, like I said, Kelly was like, the one's working on the website right now. She's amazing too. She said Steven's work is absolutely off the charts. He's very gifted. He's very gifted.
Thank
You
you.
are.
Thank you for sharing that with me, Tom. And also, like, I feel like this could be our part 18. So I'm really considering releasing this as this. So even though we weren't live on YouTube, I think posting it as the next part might be pretty cool.
Sure, go for it. I think we covered a lot of ground today that's important. I think we need to lift recognition and awareness again of this, what happens at the stadiums and how they're planning that for the future. That needs to be known. That is the plan for the future. The reason Joel Silver and the Wachowskis won in stadiums is because that is the plan that goes along with these false flags. To eliminate the population, first they have to throw them in the stadiums. And then it's an easy kill zone. Easy. First they'll let people take care of themselves, like take themselves out. So you'll have, like they do in Mideast, where British agents are dressed up like Thomas or something, or Akada or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll have actually agents hurting the citizenry, right? Operation Northwoods. And so they do that at the stadiums. They have actual agents go in like they're drug dealers or just ruffians and just have at it. That's in the Immortals too. Isn't that something? So we have it. So yes, when we make the film, we're revealing all this about everything from agents to stadiums to everything else. And that's something. All right, Stephen. Great work.
Yeah, this been a great chat. Like, it's good talking to you again.
Yeah, I miss you. You're amazing. You do great work. You're a great friend, and I'll stand by any day. You do great stuff. Someday,
Likewise.
all the shadow banning will end, and we'll actually see a view count for all the people that will appreciate the work you've done. So thanks, Stephen.
Yeah. I just say, I'm here for the truth. I want justice for those that are righteous, and you're one of those people.
Well, I hope studios
Um,
in the future, we'll have studios in the future where we can help people and lay it out, the
yeah,
playbook.
I want to get back to making movies.
I
Like
know,
I
same
want my
here.
studio. I want to get things
Yeah,
going.
yeah, let's do it. Let's have that happen. So yeah, they're crumbling, they're falling apart. We'll keep tabs on Kate Chilton too. Public be aware of that. Watch Kate Chilton, the main architect of the whole, basically with Disney, with Michael Eisner, the ones that are in bed together, making sure that intellectual property becomes an industry, theft of intellectual property. So that's going to change once Disney, the father of intellectual property ripoff, is caught down and revealed, and you're going to see a golden age in Hollywood again, a new Hollywood anyway. But thanks, Stephen.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom. All right,
All
you
right,
have a good rest of your weekend.
you too.